All right, here we go.
And transformationtalkradio.com. This is the hour of healing power. In this live call-in show, The Healing Hour, I'm going to take your calls and help you get started on your way to your maximum potential. So come on, settle in, listen up, and I'll take your questions head on. Together, we'll find practical wisdom and understanding about what ails you. In the Healing Hour, we'll start your day off right. Insights and practical health knowledge and concepts for how you really live. I'll take your issue and help guide you with the blend of scientific medicine and the esoteric, including shamanic energy medicine. So let's shake off some of that mystery and get started on how to really live. Together, let's get unstuck. So come on and join in, join up, and let me help and let go of what holds you back from being the maximum you the world needs. Take down this call-in number, 1-800-930-2819, and let's get started on the Healing Hour right now. So I love how it says, let's get you unstuck. Well, I don't know about you guys, but this is almost like I've got my big waders on and I am in cow patty. So that's what Dr. Pat and I are going to talk about today. I'm Dr. Sharon Martin. You have the Healing Hour. And this is when the world has literally gone bat guano bonkers. Pat, what do you think? I think it's gone bonkers.
Yeah, I think it's so many levels it is, and rightly so in a lot of ways. And let's talk about what we mean by gone bonkers. We've not been prepared in the day and age we live in. You know, there's not a preparation that the world has gone through for what we have experienced in the past 24 months. There are snippets of it. There are some countries that have been through some things. There are some parts of this country where things have hit epidemic levels. I mean, there's so many things that we can point to, but there are very few in this lifetime now that we could point to. You know, I remember having a conversation with my uncle once, and before he passed away, about what was it like for them during World War II. And you know, I wanted to know, because I come from a military family. You know, the only reason my dad didn't serve was because he owned a trucking company, and trucking was important. And I wanted to know what that was like. And I think about where we are today, and it was like the way he described that to me, because there's a reason it was called World War. Uncertain, unknown, length of time, undefined, adjustments in how the economy worked. My aunts were on the docks welding bolts into ships. My aunts were small people, crawling into the corners with the welding thing with the bolts, right? But we had structure, and there was leadership, and there was a game plan. This is different. There are so many variables at the moment. Unless you live in Germany and you have Chancellor Merkel, who's running the ship and really telling you like when you're going to brush your teeth and how you're going to do it, and this is the way we do it. Every day is undefined, it's unknown, and unpredictable. What do you think?
I think we are flying by the seat of our pants.
That's it.
No, I mean, and I think there are more reasons than just the fact that all of this has been previously unknown to us. There's actually energetic explanations. We are in topsy-turvy world, planetary, galactic, universal, energetic evolution. So everything is literally in a turmoil, and nothing is predictable.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when nothing is predictable? Not the way anything ever went before. You cannot count on it. What is first of all, do you fall apart? And secondly, what can you do? What tools do you have? What do you have, Pat? What
what has been your answer to get through?
I think the answer for me, and it goes back to when this all started, and I think, and I say this lovingly, I think those of us in Washington State have had a head start, a head start of all of you. I think we've had a head start. And the reason we've had a head start is because this really boiled up in our own backyard. You know, yeah. It kind of reminds me of my friends who live in Lyme, Connecticut, Lyme, Lyme disease, Lyme, Connecticut. They've had a head start on that conversation. But we had a head start here. And I think the thing is that the mind is a powerful and destructive thing all at the same time. And yet, what people have been experiencing emotionally cannot be described. You on the front lines cannot describe it. Just can't. It's like talking to my friend who is the baton commander of fire station in Bakersfield. It would be like him trying to tell me what it was like for him and his battalion to be out there fighting a fire, right? Battalion. Thank you, Benny. He can tell me, and I could watch movies, but until you feel the heat of that flame, like chasing you down, you don't know. And see, that's where we are now. People are feeling the heat of the flame that's chasing them down, and they don't know what to do. They're not trained as the fire chief. We're not trained. So what does it cause? It causes us to be batshit crazy. That's what happens. Alcohol rates, online buying through the roofs. Cannabis is being sold and smoked and eaten and used. Food is being ingested because we do not have coping mechanisms for where we are today.
But I'm going to tell you a few that I think will help.
That's why you're here.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the energetics here, because we can see the details in the literal world. We can see such and such happened, shooter here, Brian Laundrie somewhere in the park in one of the Everglades. You know, we have all these incoming things. But if you stop and feel it, there is literally, we're bombarded by waves of energy, tsunami waves of energy that you have not experienced before. They are coming from flashes from the sun. They're coming from the Earth's own evolution as a planet. It is so much bigger than what we're used to sensing. And it's tossing us around. And I like to think of our energy field, and believe me, I don't understand this as well as some beautiful spiritual teachers do, but we have inner polarities. All our molecules have a positive and a negative. And when you get tossed around by all of this, your literal chemical composition gets twisted. And I'm going to tell you a story, and then we'll move later on the show for me to tell you how I think we can help fix it. I'm a scientist. I was trained as a physiologist. I have a PhD. I taught at School of Medicine in Atlanta. So I like the facts. So I had a person come in. She drives a school bus. She's sick for 3 days. She wants me to test. She thinks she has a sinus infection. I said, we're going to test you for COVID. Stay in your car. We test her. We tell her she's positive and that she cannot drive. She goes around to the back of the building where our local pharmacy is, tells them that our test could not have been right, that she doesn't believe it, and she wants them to test her. Well, that's a 2-day process. So she continues to drive the school bus. Now, every scientific bone in my body is screaming. Well, how can you not absorb? What did we lie to you about the test? How do you not believe it? Did you want to work so badly that you're willing to risk all the children you're in contact with and their parents and their grandparents who put them in and off the bus? Well, as I'm telling you this, I'm getting agitated myself. And that kind of incoming distress where you can't handle what's going on is what adds to what we call an energetic reversal. And that's where all of your polarities inside you are getting spun around, that your coherence, your energetic coherence is in jeopardy. And then that actually can lead you to disconnect with reality. Well, I thought she was a little bit disconnected. I had another family. Their mother was sick in the hospital. Then the grandmother got sick and ended up dying from COVID. This was several months ago. The other family members don't believe the COVID test. They won't get it. But they want us to do a blood test for COVID antibodies, which is what you show as if you've had the disease. You'll believe the antibody test, but you won't believe the COVID test. I don't get it. So what I'm saying is we all have our personal things that trip us, that tripped me. I'm like tripped out. It's just when it's unbelievable like that, you can go off the edge.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you when we're going to take a short break, and when I come back, I want to tell you how I almost went off the edge and then what I did to fix it.
And you know what you're talking about here is, and let me say this, as a business owner and as somebody that is acutely aware of, in our state, what the requirements are, I take them pretty literal. And, it's really fascinating to me that how our perspective on things, especially if you're in an office building like we are, and you reach out to the landlord and you try to say, look, I just want to point this out to you because we're concerned, right? Mm-hmm. And you engage in this argument back and forth, right? Where all you're trying to do is say, look, can we make this safer? Can we make this cleaner? And then you get accused of being not grateful. And at some point, you get to that shift crazy moment where you either got to know how to hold them or fold them. And you say, you know what? The cleanliness of this building is not my responsibility. What I'm going to do here in this building, I'm going to get my friend Dee Dee. She's going to come in and she's going to clean her own space. And I want to make sure for my team that this is up to my standard. But in the meantime, the gap between that beginning and that realization, that's the batshit crazy space. Yeah. That's where if you don't have the tools you're going to tell us about when we come back.
Over the cliff.
Over the cliff without your hang glider. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, everybody.
All right. We'll be back.
All clear?
I tried to talk that we love our space.
Guess what?
My God.
You don't need to wait until the new year to set new goals for
renewed
yourself.
For 5 years.
Hi, I'm Joan Marlowe, the host of Awareness to Action.
Somebody point something
and
out
I'm taking this concept to a whole new level.
It is in
I've developed a program to take your awareness to action in 90 days. Let me introduce you to your Day One.
And it went from
Day One can start any day you choose. So why not now? We'll use powerful brainstorming, mastermind, visioning, and goal-setting techniques to open your awareness of what you really want in your life and take action with intention to get there. Choose to work with me one-on-one or in a small group. Let's connect, lift each other up, and hold each other accountable. I'm offering a free consult to design your program. Visit my site, peacefullyhealing.com, to connect with me, and let's find out when your Day One will begin.
You have somebody call.
Are you ready to experience full body system wellness? Tune in to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright, a spiritual toolbox for your life. Embrace the fullness of who you are as a spiritual being, having a human experience. Pam Bright is a multi-dimensional healer, light language channel, energy intuitive, and spiritual transformation coach. Join her for a rich conversation about how to unlock all your spiritual gifts. Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio.
You have a staff member that's calling in sick.
Do your ADHD tendencies get in the way of you doing what you intend to? Traditional strategies for getting things done may not work for you. You need solutions tailored for your unique brain. In Bonnie Minku's training membership program, Productivity Pathfinder, learn ADHD self-mastery step by step at your own pace in a supportive community with live online options each week.
Guys, I would
learn more
love
about Productivity Pathfinder at thrivewithadd.com.
That asking you shall receive.
Hi everyone, this is Courtney Cottrell, host of Unapologetically Favorite on Transformation Talk Radio. Here to give you some tips on how you can move your life forward if you're feeling stuck by using the GROW model. First, use the letter G to write down the goal that you ultimately want to achieve, whether it's working out 1 hour a day or working towards a promotion at work. Second, using the letter R, think realistically about the roadblock that is currently holding you back from accomplishing your goals. Third, use the letter O. Think about the options or opportunities that will help you in achieving your goal. What can you change in your daily routine that will help you move closer to achieving your goal? Fourth, use the letter W to discover your will and make a true commitment to achieving your goal by writing down a completion date. Once you reach your goal, celebrate your accomplishment. You are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. Never give up and keep being unapologetically you.
We are so already chipped.
Are you ready to invest in your best self? Join Sabrina Wright as she shares practical tools for creating joy and balance in your life every single day.
I got an email
Sabrina
from a company
is here to
telling
help
me
you
I'm part of a
become your
class
greatest
action suit that I don't even know
and
I was part
empower
of.
you
How
to
did they
make
even know
decisions
that?
that will help you learn to live your best life. Live the good life, connecting your physical and spiritual self with Sabrina Wright. Every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Ready to come back?
Ready, Benny.
There we go.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Well, go ahead, Sharon. Sorry. I lost control of myself right there.
You're so used to it, Pat. I'm Dr. Martin. I'm with Dr. Pat, the Healing Hour. Let's talk quickly about what I did when I was walking in guano. I actually called one of my spiritual teachers. Her name is Dr. Patrice Fields. You'll want to check out her website, spirit-evolving.com, and had an energy session with her. And her gift is she's amazing at reading energy fields. And she said, "You are reversed." I said, "Reversed? Well, I don't even know how to tell if I'm reversed. I know I'm bonkers." But she showed me a tapping technique to break that. And if you don't know tapping, and I'm not going to spend time here, you can go to the EFT website. Dr. Dawson Church has a website, Emotional Freedom Technique. It is a simple, do-it-yourself, breaking up the flow of your energy field when you're thinking the thoughts that get you off kilter. Well, anyway, so we worked on that. In her, Dr. Patrice Fields' website is a practice that was given to her by Padmasambhava, somebody with whom she communes on the inner planes. And it's called the platform practice. And so I had known about it and I started doing it a little bit more, with a little more discipline, a little more diligence. So that helped me. But what I want to tell you guys are the things, we're going to spend the rest of the show. We'll probably take a quick break halfway between now and the end. Of ways that I think that you can do benefit for yourself. Now, remember, this is your energy field bombarded, discombobulated, in the guano, knee deep in cow poop. And that if we remember that your thoughts create your reality. So your thoughts have an energy pattern, and as it sends that energy pattern out through your body, you are sending the electrical signals with which your field then resonates. So when you're thinking stuff like, I can't believe this person said that our test, they didn't believe our test. What does she think? We're just taking her money and not doing real medicine? You know, What do you mean they want an antibody test when they won't do the regular test? You know, so here goes my head in the all of, what do you mean? How is this possible? Well, those thoughts, you can even feel them. They are not smooth. They are not coherent, and they are not laden with hope, joy, gratitude, love. So check out Dr. Patrice Fields, look up her website about how to de-reverse using tapping and how to do the platform practice. But I want to take now the time here to go through ways that I think you can regulate your field. And I want you to feel this as I say it. It's often in Patrice's monthly telecalls when we center our fields for our meditation. And just feel these. Asking your field to ground, center, balance, and align. I'm going to say it again. Ground, center, balance, and align. When we do each of these steps, I'm going to teach you a technique that I think will do grounding, will do balancing, etc. I want you just to feel your energy field. Let's take ground. Feel your energy field dropping to ground, and by that I mean the earth. This is where you need to connect to the earth. Humans have evolved literally lockstep with the earth. We do not exist without the earth. The evolution of the earth is our evolution. Every energetic component of the earth, every mineral, atom, molecular structure, we have it inside us. So when you ground, I want you to really be on the earth. If you're in a climate that allows you to be barefoot, great. Go sit at the base of a tree. Plunk your butt, literally your root chakra, onto the ground. Preferably, if the ground is wet, don't use polyester or plastic to sit on. Maybe get some cotton or wool, or put a wool sweater underneath you or something. When you connect, when you literally ground, and let's use the electrical term ground, the earth is a great sink, S-I-N-K, for energy. So when you connect, you are actually bringing into coherence all of your wayward electrical signals, your energies, and you are bringing them down to the earth, and the excess will be absorbed and transmuted. And then if you want to sit there meditatively and connect to the spirit of the earth and ask for help, if you want to feel, literally feel the earth, if you want to hold a stone, if you can't get outdoors, if you have a stone or a crystal, hold on to that. You want to feel it, and then you want to talk spiritually about linking your field up with that of the earth. So this is ground. And I really, really want you to feel that. And if you can't go and do it, at the very least, imagine it. Bring up a picture of something beautiful on the computer, dive into it. But truthfully, barefoot, a tree, a grass, your butt on the ground, ground. That's a critical part. Pat, how do you connect to ground?
Brain tap. And you know, yours will be on the way. And let me tell you why I say brain tap. I connect to the ground in a lot of different ways. If I don't have 20 minutes or 25 minutes to really sit and have the whole experience. But there are many ways I've learned how to do it. You know, there's some things I love to do, right? And that I'm reminded of. If I really want to be grounded in a hot nanosecond, I call Linda. Right? Nobody is really as grounded as Linda in so many ways. And just hearing her voice in a strange way, you know what I mean? right? That's it. You know, I have other things that I do. What is it? Tactile, right? Whole things. Okay. So what I will do is I don't know if people can see behind me, but behind me, I've got a couple of things, and there's a gemstone. I'm always surrounded by stone. I'll just hold the stone in my hand, and that's enough. It's enough and maybe you can explain this better. It's enough to cut off the energy or the circulation of the ungrounded push. It doesn't always get me to the next place, but it will help me cut off that frequency. Thank you. You're breaking the circuit. Yep. That's it. That's the right thing.
And that's what tapping does. But in
tapping does
the gemstone, you're bringing in something with a beautifully coherent energy field, and you're touching it to yourself. All of your scatteredness that's looping around, but not in the right way. Maybe it's like going on the on the other side of the street, on the other lane, that's, traffic coming at you. You are putting in a different energy. That's boom, stop that flow, stop that current.
Jessica and I don't know if I can hold these up. Jessica and I wear these. Okay. We have different stones, but I wear these. This is on my wrist and I wear it, and I'm fiddling. So during a show, I'm fiddling with it, or I'm moving it down, and I'm just holding these little stones. And there's enough of that will cut off whatever this is. Now, I will say a lot of times that's temporary. So what you're talking about, though, Sharon, is you're talking about how do we take what we're discussing today? How do we take this idea of ground, center, balance, and align? Ground, center, balance, and align. If everybody just says that, ground, center, balance, and align, ground, center, balance, align, ground, center, balance, align, ground, center, balance, align. Just a mantra of that, ground, center, balance, align. That right there, because words have vibrational power in them. We did a study once. We looked at sound waves. And when you say good, you see the sound waves. When you say bad, you see a sound wave. If you look at the sound waves, you could see the difference. But ground, center, balance, align.
And even say it a little more like an invocation, or like an intentional command, or a ground, center, balance, and align. And feel yourself get back in the groove. And I want the ground to really mean, like your stones, I want it to really mean earth.
Yeah. And I think that's really the key, what you're talking about and helping us understand today, is that, we can reverse some of the batshit crazy stuff that's going on. And I think part of this is knowing that you can do that. And I think what you're sharing, Doc Martin, today is you're sharing, this is a way to do it. This is a way where you are, what you're doing. This is it. And here's what I love about what you're doing. A lot of times what we learn is that transformative occurrences like this have to take an enormous amount of time, a lot of money, and we have to wait for the results. But what we're talking about today is instantaneously. It's instantaneous. When you come up with a way to stop that, I also have a mantra. And I have to tell you that throughout my day, so I don't get off throughout my day, thank you. I say, thank you, God. Thank you, universe. And it plays in my head, right? Over and over and over and over and over again. It just plays like that. And when it doesn't, like today, I did not do that this morning because I got caught in that BS moment, that BS crazy moment this morning, that I had to get up. I walked in Jessica's room. She's very busy. And all I did was sit there and say, just ignore me. I just have to sit here. That is a version of grounding, right?
It is. It very much is. Yeah.
Isn't that what you're saying to people though today? Aren't you sharing things that people can do regardless of where they are and what situation they're in?
Yes, and it's a DIY. You don't need to hire anybody to tell you how to do it. And you don't have to spend any money. Pat, do we want to take a break now and then roll through the end with other issues, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's take a short break, because what we're going to talk about when we come back is, and try this. Just try this for a moment while we're going to break. Just try saying it. Ground, center, balance, align. Just try saying it in whatever way you want. Ground, center, balance, align. Just try saying it. See what happens when you do that. For those of you that are listening live and you're trying it, call us. Let us know how it's working. Ground, center, balance, align. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the others are. Now, here's a question for you all to think about while we're gone. If you get ground right, does center come along with it? That's a really good question. I can't wait to hear what Dr. Martin's got to say about that. For you to find out more about Dr. Sharon Martin, please go to our website, drsharonmartin.com, drsharonmartin.com. Right? Ground, center, balance, align. We'll be right back, everybody.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Okay.
You just finished. No more breaks. Because I think it's important for people to hear you talk about this.
Tune into Hungry for Answers every first and third Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com with me, Robin Clare. I am a recovery coach, professional, and best-selling author, bringing you eye-opening conversations about addiction and groundbreaking tools for recovery. To learn about me and my offerings, visit clarity.com, CLARE-ITY.com.
For a minute.
Day-to-day living can be difficult
Jessica,
in our world today.
Both of us
Most of us don't know how to live a peaceful, joy-filled existence. Learn how to break through these barriers and live a transformative life on Love and Light with me, Dr. Lisa. Every day living in peace. Every second and fourth Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Work with Dr. Lisa. Visit educationthroughengagement.com.
We're so vulnerable to that right now.
When trauma is stored in the body, it can subconsciously affect and determine our life experience. Learn how the mind connects with the body and how you can pursue your own healing and growth so that your light shines brighter than ever. On the Law of Attraction Traction with host, my mom, Green Beer.
Oh my God, I tried
every third Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
I know what I'm really
to learn more about Crane and her services as holistic, heart-centered counselor, visit CraneBeerfo.com.
It was not a game breaker for me not to know how to surf, because I've tried it.
Do you feel like you and your significant other have lost their initial spark? Then let Coach Martez and Widrina guide you to strengthen your love and reignite that spark on the Coach Martez and Widrina Layton Show on Transformation Talk Radio. Understanding love, accepting truth, and changing perspective. For more information, make sure you go to dreambuilderscoaching.net. That is dreambuilderscoaching.net.
So much stress on trying to do this. I'm just not.
We remember a time when you could simply form a thought and it would manifest.
I
the
could sit on the
was
beach and watch my
forgotten,
friends
but it is returning now. The power of inspiration
I'm
and
in
awakening
Hawaii.
radio with
The
Julia
Mai Tai
Griffin
while
on
they-
TransformationTalkRadio.com
I'm
each second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We'll take you on adventures through the
Get me
heart
some
and
of them
spirit,
ribs.
exploring who you once were. This intuitive healer studied under the guidance of wolves, learning from
They're the
their
best.
wisdom to master a higher frequency for new
I
state
even
mind.
like koi.
Visit OneTrueSelf.com.
Imagine what it would be like to turn your pain into purpose. Tune in to Transformation with Martin
Hey, I'm so
every
glad
second and
you're,
fourth
like,
Friday at 10
really
a.m. Pacific
firing
on
me up with
TransformationTalkRadio.com.
these. I'm just really
Martinet and her guests are here shining their lights today through
It's really
empowering
happy
stories
for
of
you.
hardship and transformation.
got-
Begin to see
Yeah,
your life in
and
a
when
new
she
light.
asked for explanations,
Visit
it ended up writing stuff. It's
MartinetEmmons.com
probably
and
another
tune in
chapter,
every
so-
second and fourth Friday
And
at
you
10
know,
a.m.
isn't that-
Pacific to
isn't that the
Transformation
divine
with
practice?
Martinet.
Isn't that like some of the coolest things when you get to explore further the inner depth of who you are?
All ready to come back?
Yeah, Benny.
All right, stand by.
Hi, I'm Doc Martin. I'm with Dr. Pat. This is the Healing Hour. And we're talking about when the world goes bat guano crazy, which it is right now. And we're talking about the things that I think we can each do, free, easy, accessible, to help really reconnect our energy field, get in coherence, start to resonate with what matters right now, and that's things like nature and the earth. We talked about ground, and we're talking about ground, center, balance, and align. So let's talk about centering. And Dr. Pat asked the question, if you're grounded, aren't you automatically centered? And when I think about that, I think for the most part, yes, because when you're grounded, you are literally connecting your field to that of the earth. But that doesn't always bring you inward. And to me, centered is coming inward. So I want to talk to you about, and I've shared with you that the ground, center, balance, and align is something I learned from Dr. Patrice Fields, spirit-evolving.com. And what I'm going to talk to you next that I use for centering comes from Drunvalo Melchizedek, who was a spiritual teacher easily 20 years ago. A very enlightened being, lives in, I believe he lives in Sedona, connected with the Hopi Indians. He did the Flower of Life. I don't know if you remember that teaching, and the Merkaba. But he has a meditation that's called the Earth, Sky, Heart Meditation. So I want you to feel this as I describe it to you, because this is good stuff. Bring your awareness to your heart, and you do that by thinking of something you love. And if you're cranky with everybody around you, I can't love that bird, can't love it. Well, maybe you love seeing a baby bunny. Maybe you love when your dog puts his chin on your knee. Think of something, however small, that you love, and that'll bring you to your heart space. And then you want to expand that feeling of love and send an energetic cord down through your body, out your feet, to the center of the earth. And you notice that's centering. So you are doing an electrical, I see this as a golden cable, a golden beam of light from your heart to the center of the earth. And you are sending that beam full of love. That's a beam of love. Nothing else, love. Even if it's just love of the funniest movie you just saw, whatever gives you that feeling. You're beaming the earth with love. And then, because we are not in isolation, we are definitely connected. Sit for a moment and allow yourself to feel that energy coming back. And when you feel that love coming back, and you will feel it, you think, how can that be? There are literally energetic components and beings that are in the center of the earth that are going to send you back love. And they're going to put you in resonance with the center of the earth because of that beam of love. So you feel that. And the idea is to nourish yourself, because we have been walking in the doo-doo for a long time. So nourish yourself with this love coming back. Then turn your awareness to feeling that feeling of love again, and send the beam to the center of the sky. Send it up to Father Sky. Beaming the celestial realms with love. Now, it's easier to feel when it comes back to you, because that's where we associate higher beings and those of us who believe in God and angels. But send that beam of love up to Father Sky, and then feel it coming back. Then you are sitting, I call it the Holy Trinity. You are the key component in the connection of heaven and earth. You sit right in the middle. You are integral in the spiritual journey of the earth, of the species, of the planet, of everything. So there you are, column of golden light between you and the sky, coming back to you, and from you down to the center of the earth and coming back. So when your heart is in that space, that is amplifying the field of love, which is going to influence your electrical field, your energy field, and put it back into the right resonance. So that's center. So when you feel yourself and you say center, just quickly send that beam to the earth, bring it back, send it up to the sky, bring it back. Centering, beautiful. I like it. I just can feel it. So now let's talk about balance. I use two processes, and I don't use them all at the same time. These are ways to think about your different facets. And so I chose to tell you today think about the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. Or think about the colors. And we are literally an electrical field of light. So you have all the frequencies of the spectrum. You remember from middle school or high school, Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And of course, there's gold, silver, pink, and it goes on. But take, for example, those colors. And maybe you're out of balance in one of those colors, but if you do a quick meditation to flood your awareness, let's take red, flood your awareness with red and feel it saturating every physical part of you, every mental part of you, every spiritual part of you, and your energy field. And just hold that color for a minute. And I like to think of what is the kind of red I want to do. So I think of a rose, I think of a cherry, a ripe strawberry, a cardinal in the spring, something that I can really focus on the color red. Flood your field with red. That is amplifying the frequency of red in your field. So now let's just take orange. I think of a pumpkin, a school bus, a sunflower, a marigold. Flood yourself with that. Flood yourself with an orange color of any kind. Then take yellow, the center of a daisy, a goldfinch. Flood yourself with that. Green, of course, beautiful green. Grass, leaves of the trees. Blue, sky blue, robin's egg blue, blue of the ocean. Indigo, maybe eggplant is an indigo. What else is indigo, Pat?
Indigo is a really interesting color because indigo is one of those colors that actually can transmute in front of you. It's one of the colors that when you say indigo, people get different emotional responses from it. And it is the kind of color that, because it incorporates other colors and combination of other colors, it has so many different shades and meaning for different people. It's fascinating. We're talking about colors because I'm sitting here and you were talking about red. Mm-hmm. And, it's fascinating when I think about red, the color red. It has such a love-hate relationship in the world, right? But without a doubt, it is one of the most common and popular of colors, right? We use it in our language. We use it to highlight logos. We use it to explain emotions, right?
Think of how many flags of countries in the world have red. Think of how many Native American tribes used red as one of their medicine wheel colors.
Yeah. And from an indigenous perspective, there are so many. And so if you know it, like I have a rug, and I have a rug that was handmade. It's now like about over 100 years old. The camels used to sit on it and all that. And it's made out of dye, vegetable dye. and natural vegetable flower dye. And one of the prominent colors in it is red. And it's not a bright red, but it's red. And what I find about that is that red can generate so many emotions. But I think the point to what you're saying is we can bring in the energy of color.
And we are a tapestry of different frequencies, each represented they represent a color. They also represent a sound. But I'm talking color today. And so when you reflect on each of these, you are then asking for all of them to be in balance. So after you've contemplated each one, then you're going to see the whole rainbow. And then when you bring that rainbow to your field, you are restored.
It's so funny you were talking about this. Let me just drop this in and then you can roll on. I have an orange car. I have an orange SUV. It's my second one, which means I'm probably 6 years into driving an orange Rogue. 6 years into it. Linda said, they're really getting hard to get. Now, this is a very special color. It's a special candy apple orange. It's bright. I come out and I come in my garage and I pull out in the dark Pacific Northwest and I drive an orange car. And when I bought the car, it was pretty much the only one on the road. What I've noticed now in 5 years passing, I'm not alone with that, but it makes me smile. It makes me smile. And for me, living where I live, I want to walk out in a gray day and look at this bright
and noticeable. And you want the people in the other lane to see you coming.
Yeah, I don't even think Linda brought that up. I didn't even think about that. To be honest with you, I had never gotten pulled over till Linda drove the car. She's not listening, so I can talk about this. And I kept telling it, can you please slow down on this road? Because, you're going to go back to Jersey. You're driving the car, but I still have the orange car. But isn't it funny, though, how color can shift our energy?
Mm-hmm. And then we just for balance, we're going to have to remember violet.
Oh, yes. Oh, you can't forget violet.
So I always remember Saint Germain, the violet flame, and I remember amethyst. For me, violet is amethyst. Could be a sunset.
I got it back there.
But anyway, so we've done ground and we've done center. And find your way to do balance. Perhaps you want to do the elements. You want to think about earth. Feel what earth means to you, how it feels inside you. Think about air, how that feels. Fire. I can easily go to fire when I'm getting triggered through the day. But here's something, a little bit of a digression. It's our job to fix our reaction and what we contribute to any situation. I can't fix whether people believe in a COVID test or not. I can't fix if they think I am making stuff up in order to charge them extra. But I can fix my reaction to it. And so I'm doing that by ground, center, balance, and align, which I love. So let's just close with talking about alignment.
Yeah, let's.
Alignment for me, this is how I do it, is I have to actively consider my thoughts, where my heart is on that issue, and my action. Now, the Peruvian shamans have 3 words, Yankai, Yachai, and Munai. Yankai is right walk, Yachai is right thought, and Munai is right heart. So your best action in the world is an alignment of those 3 all being present. So you don't take an action if your heart and mind aren't balanced. And you can't just sit around and think about it and feel it. You got to act on it. So I go to that place of thinking about my thoughts, but then I also want to take this to the cellular level. Thinking about, maybe reflect on your heart rate. Does it feel like your neck veins are pounding because you're so aggravated? And see if you can slow that down, aligning yourself with the pulse that you want. Align yourself with something calm, steady, resourceful. And then think about, I like to also go cellular, so I like to think about my DNA. How do I smooth out the field so that all of my cellular processes are going right? How do I feel that the minerals in my body are in right alignment? So to me, align is very much an inner task, and it's awareness of my thought and my heart and my action. And believe me, I was in the guano caves a few weeks ago, and I was neither centered nor balanced nor nothing. And I had to work actively at the tapping I told you about earlier. I had to work at each of these processes, and I had to set my intention. Again, this is a mind game. This whole energy and shamanic work, this whole consciousness, it's a mind game. And I don't mean game like frivolous. That's how we change our experience of the world and actually change our reality, is get our head right. And I mean the deeper part of our heads, our intentions, how we view what we're going to bring forth. And I want to take the last couple minutes. Pat, do you have anything to add before?
No, I want you to keep rolling.
Okay. We have the potential. Well, not only the potential, we are creating the reality and therefore our future. So every time that we can get ourselves grounded, centered, balanced, and aligned, we bring ourselves present and forward out into the future. And that's how we are going to change our evolution and make sure we evolve in sync with the earth, with the sky, with our planet, with our galaxy, with our universe. So don't think that, or I should say this a different way. Know that you are critical. You are critical to our destiny as humans. You are critical to our evolution. So take these processes to spend a few minutes each day to get yourself grounded and centered and balanced and aligned, because we have to bring our best selves forward. We're going to, we are. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do, because I need to contribute to our spectacular evolution. So anyway, Pat, that's what I think. That's the importance of this kind of work.
Yeah. And what I love about this is, for those of you that missed any part of this, certainly, remember ground, center, balance, align. But please go take a visit at drsharonmartin.com, drsharonmartin.com. And this is one of the things she does. You can schedule a session with her, you can schedule time with her, and she will help you wherever you are. You may be at the ground part. You may be not at the ground part. You may be having a little bit of an addition right there at the balance part. But what I know about Sharon is she will help you integrate the whole and meet you where you are. Because this is not just about waking up every day. It's about waking up every day and having an amazing day. And sometimes we just can't do this alone. I mean, that's my life lesson right there, was learning. As much as I really became independent at like birth almost, taking the journey alone is really quite painful.